Long journey. We've been very close friends for about a decade, and this is actually the first thing we started writing together. We've since made several things, but I keep saying we've sort of returned to it like a needle point, because we started writing it essentially before we knew how to write. And it was just a seed of an idea. We knew we wanted to write something together, and over the course of many moons, it's evolved. We were supported through the labs, which really helped solidify the story. Is that?
Yeah, basically so the initial idea of sisters who find out their mother's alive and starring on TV was a constant. And the challenge then became, we love that premise so much, but it felt like more of a farce or more of a soap, and that's not really how we experience the world. We kind of experience the world somewhere right in the middle, somewhere between like farcical and tragic. And so the challenge became bringing this premise we loved to our own experiences and what we were learning about our own dysfunction and our dynamic. And so the story really grew up with us. And I think we were talking about how to explain how the process is the movie. We cultivated this community around this story, and there was space for everybody to contribute their own experiences, and the movie sort of is that collaboration and community and coming of age story.
And the thing that we were just talking about in the car was that transformation is very different than change. And what I think you see in this movie is change implies things like more, better, bigger, different, and you look back and you say, oh, I changed my behavior there. But transformation is a much larger context, which is what I think this movie is really, has that quality to it, is a transformational quality, which implies evolution. And that we're always growing, always evolving, always moving. And that seems to me to be so much of where both of your relationship happened, and so then it extended out to the rest of us.
I thought it was just a great script. I remember I think we FaceTimed, Hannah and I FaceTimed, and we talked about it, and I remember thinking, it reminded me of a lot of some of the earlier sort of classic New York movies that I'd watched growing up, because I like watching, I watched everything as a kid. I was a cinephile to a certain point, probably up to like mid-90s. I just loved taking in all kinds of films, and sometimes I meet the people that were in these films now, and I tell them, oh, I love this film you're in, and they go, really? And I go, yeah, I did. But for me, it was like one of those things where when I looked at film as a kid, I was watching the characters. I wanted to figure out, and I didn't think about the acting part of it. It was like these characters, and they kind of went in and out. And I looked at the script, and I said to myself, this is very unique. This is all about the characters. There's nothing else to really think about. It's like, who are these people, and why are they so dysfunctional, and where they come from, and is anything going to be resolved? And not really. There is no end, and there's really no beginning. Really, that both the end and beginning happened off screen. And so that's what I liked about it. And it just felt like sort of a fluid, a fluid thing that was just happening. And when my character, when I talked to her, like I told her in another interview, I said, this felt like a train that was already had left the station, and I was just going to be really happy to be a part of this thing, because it was so formulated. The work was so, it was done in the Sundance lab and created with, Judith. I just thought they did so much work when I first saw the script that I wanted to shoot the script. That's what I was hoping they would do, and I think that's pretty much what they did. And not a lot of times in this business do you do that. A lot of times you start with films, you start shooting, and then there's so many revisions. And you're in your pink pages and your yellow pages and your purple pages. And there's another writer that comes on, another writer that comes on. And before you know it, you shot something, and you go in the editing room and you try and make a film out of it. Very seldom do you get to do this. You get to shoot what's on the page. And I think that's what's excited me about this, because I knew that's kind of what was going to happen.
And one of the things that Hannah just said before is that the way they both look at life, they wanted to make sure that it wasn't just either soap opera or caricature in some way, or just farcical, but that it had a real roots in emotional believability. And so that's what we were working on, and that's how a character like my character comes to be and has a lot of layers and a lot of complexity out of the dynamics of the way we were working together.